What if I told you God Himself is commanding you to get in bed right now? Not tomorrow, not later. Now, would you believe me, or would you scroll away and risk missing the most supernatural shift of your life? Chosen one. This is not clickbait. This is not a test of curiosity. This is a direct, urgent, heaven-sent command. And ignoring it could cost you blessings you've been praying for years. Yes, God wants you in bed, not in defeat, not in weakness. But in the highest form of obedience, this is a sacred pause, a divine strategy where rest becomes warfare, and stillness becomes your greatest weapon. The kingdom is moving behind the scenes, aligning every detail of your destiny, and your only assignment right now is to surrender to it. If you know in your spirit that this message is for you, comment 777 below as a prophetic act, sealing this moment and sending a signal into the heavens. And to all of you who have supported this channel, whether through a super thanks or simply by showing up, I am deeply grateful. Stay with me, because in the next moments, I'm going to reveal why this unusual, almost shocking command from God is the very key to your next breakthrough. God, chosen ones. Urgent. God wants you in bed. Do not ignore this. Tomorrow will not be just another day on the calendar. It will be a divine summons, unlike anything you have ever experienced. A sacred order is already sealed in the courts of heaven, carrying your name and requiring your full surrender. The command is simple, yet its weight is immeasurable. Remain in bed. Cease from your labor. Lay down every ambition, every urgent task, every impulse to push through. This is not a polite suggestion. It is a holy mandate directed to the chosen ones. To ignore it would be to shut the door on a miracle already on its way. Can you sense the gravity of such an order? Knowing that heaven itself pauses to wait for your obedience. Tomorrow is not about inactivity. It is about positioning yourself to receive what cannot be obtained through striving. This moment is not a delay. It is an alignment with something eternal. Scripture reminds us in Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Yet stillness is the very thing we resist. In a culture that worships productivity, choosing rest feels unnatural, even wasteful. But tomorrow, this rest is not weakness, it is warfare. Picture your body as a living temple, crafted with intricate precision by the architect of the universe. When God says to close the doors, it is not to imprison you, it is to protect you. To dim the lights is to preserve the sanctity of the inner chamber, where He will work in silence. Will you guard that sanctuary, or will you leave it exposed to the noise of the world? Every beam of that temple, every stone of your inner fortress, is meant to stand unshaken, but only if you heed His voice and keep it undisturbed. Consider the example of Corrie ten Boom, the Dutch Christian who hid Jews during World War II. She often spoke of how God sometimes shelters us under His wings to prepare us for what's ahead. Her willingness to wait in hiddenness saved countless lives. Tomorrow, you too are being asked to embrace the safety of divine concealment. You may feel the itch to break free, to get up and get moving, but the true battle is won by those who understand that some of God's greatest victories are secured in stillness. And if such stillness saved lives in the shadow of war, could it not save your destiny in the midst of spiritual warfare? Every second of your waiting will be woven into a greater deliverance you cannot yet see. In contrast, think of King Saul, anointed, chosen, but tragically impatient. When told by the prophet Samuel to wait before making the burnt offering, Saul disobeyed. Fearing delay would cost him the people's loyalty. That single act of restlessness cost him his kingdom. 1 Samuel 13:13-14. Tomorrow. Your obedience, or your lack of it, could have consequences far greater than you imagine. Will you be remembered as one who trusted God's timing, or as one who rushed ahead and forfeited the blessing? The history of the kingdom was altered because of one man's inability to stand still. Do you see now how sacred and dangerous these moments of waiting can be? This divine pause is more than a quiet day off. It is a spiritual quarantine, a set-apart space where heaven's frequency can recalibrate your soul. Psalm 46:10 whispers, "Be still and know that I am God." In that stillness, unseen construction begins in your spirit. Like a master builder strengthening the hidden beams of a cathedral, the world outside might be loud, chaotic, even urgent, but within your walls, God will be laying foundations for what comes next. Will you protect that process, or will you let a single distraction dismantle it? Remember, a single crack left unattended in a cathedral's foundation can compromise the entire structure. It is the same with your spirit. Jesus himself modeled this rhythm. After ministering to the multitudes, he often withdrew to lonely places to pray. Luke 5:16. If the Son of God embraced strategic withdrawal, how much more should you? Even the human body knows the necessity muscles grow, not during exercise, but in the recovery phase afterward. If nature honors the law of rest, why would the soul be any different? Seasons of rest are not interruptions, they are sacred intervals in the symphony of your calling, just as a composer writes pauses into music to give the notes room to breathe. God writes stillness into your journey, so the next movement can rise with greater power. And hear the words of Isaiah 30:15. In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. The enemy will try to whisper that you're being lazy, that you're wasting time. But this is a lie. Tomorrow, rest is your greatest weapon. It is the hidden strike that disarms the enemy before he even approaches your gates. Refuse it, and you hand him the advantage, but receive it, and you will be like a fortress whose walls cannot be breached. This is not the day to prove your worth through action. It is the day to prove your trust through stillness. The decision is yours. Chosen one, the heavens are watching. The angels stand ready to minister to you in the silence. You have been entrusted with an instruction that few will understand, but all of heaven will honor. When you obey, you join the ranks of those who fought not with swords, but with surrender, those who conquered by trusting the unseen hand of God. Rise in your spirit. Even as your body remains still, guard your sacred space. Protect the day appointed for your renewal. For when the sun sets tomorrow, the breakthrough, waiting on the other side of your obedience, will not just bless you, it will ripple outward, changing the course of many lives. And when that happens, you will know it was not your strength, but your surrender that won the battle, like a seed buried in the dark soil, unseen by any eye, yet brimming with life. Your breakthrough needs this season hidden from the world. Only in the quiet underground does a seed gather the strength to break its shell, push against the weight of the earth, and rise toward the light. John 2:24 declares, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed, but if it dies, it produces many seeds. Tomorrow is that burial, a holy concealment ordained by God, not for death, but for multiplication. Can you imagine what will sprout when this sacred stillness has done its work? Just as winter blankets the land before spring erupts in color, so too must your spirit rest in darkness before the brilliance of your next season is revealed. In that hiddenness, heaven is weaving threads of destiny you cannot yet see. God's command is unmistakable. Remain in bed. Chosen one, withdraw from the demands that drain you. This is not an invitation, it is an instruction sealed in the heavenlies. To rise prematurely is to uproot what he is planting. Tomorrow is not a random date. It is a divinely marked threshold where healing will flow in a way you have never experienced before. Like a hidden spring under a mountain, the restoration is already pressing upward. But the soil of your soul must remain undisturbed. Psalm 37:7 says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him." Will you guard that stillness as fiercely as a mother bird guards her nest from predators? Each moment of obedience is like adding another layer of protection to the life growing within you. And if God has set this day apart, it is because the next chapter of your story depends on it. For you, the chosen one. This day holds a sacred weight. God has set apart this time as your personal season of full restoration, body, mind, heart, and spirit. Picture the way a forest recovers after a fire, how the charred ground slowly bursts with green again. Nourished by rains it did not earn. In the same way, heaven is preparing to rain on your ashes. This is not just recovery, it is a divine recreation. Isaiah 61:3 promises beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. What would it mean if your private wilderness became the birthplace of your greatest strength? The forest does not rush its regrowth. It trusts the slow rhythm of renewal. Neither should you. Every breath you take tomorrow will be part of that quiet regrowth. No meetings, no errands, no digital noise. This is not simply about avoiding activity. It is about creating an undisturbed sanctuary where the deepest kind of renewal can occur. Imagine the great oak tree. It spends years growing roots before it towers into the sky. Your rest tomorrow will be those unseen roots, reaching deeper into God's living water. Jeremiah 17:8 describes the righteous as a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream. Its leaves are always green. Will you allow God to extend your roots, even if no one else can see the growth yet? Just as the ocean hides its most powerful currents far beneath the surface, your deepest transformation will happen where no one is watching, in the quiet. Your roots will find streams that will sustain you for decades to come. And this isn't just nature's lesson, it echoes in art and theater as well. In the medieval morality play, The Castle of Perseverance, the soul is portrayed as taking refuge inside a fortress, shielded from the world until it is ready for the final battle. Tomorrow, your bed will be that fortress. The blankets will not just cover you, they will be your ramparts. Your stillness will not be a weakness, it will be your weapon. Exodus 14 affirms, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." What victories might be forming while you are hidden in God's stronghold, in this fortress? You are not escaping the fight. You are preparing to win it. And when the gates finally open, you will emerge, not weary, but fortified. If you've been carrying invisible burdens, feeling drained beyond explanation, this is the moment God has set to lift those weights. His healing will pour over you, not as a violent storm, but as a steady, unstoppable tide washing every cell in your body, clearing the fog from your mind, and flooding your spirit with light. Think of the shoreline after a night tide smoothed, refreshed, ready for a new day. That is what tomorrow will do for your soul. This is not ordinary rest, It is God's own hand sculpting your inner world, and as the tide reshapes the coast without fanfare, so He will reshape you in ways you won't fully realize until you stand renewed. The heavens are already aligned. The timing is already chosen. Your only task is obedience. When you emerge from this rest, you will not just be restored, you will be restructured. The enemy will find that the weak places in your defenses have been rebuilt stronger than before, and when the breakthrough comes, it will carry the quiet strength of one who waited on the Lord and did not move until He said, "Rise." Let tomorrow be the day you trust His word over your own urgency. And when you rise, knowing that your stillness has shifted something in both heaven and earth. Chosen one, receive this with the gravity it deserves. Sleeping all day may appear to be the most passive of acts, but in the architecture of heaven, it is one of the most structurally significant moves you can make. Just as a master builder halts all construction to let the newly poured foundation cure, God is commanding you to cease movement so that the framework of your spirit can solidify under His hand. Hebrews 4:10 says, "For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their works, just as God did from His." Could it be that by closing your eyes, you are engaging in the most active form of trust heaven recognizes when the foundation of a cathedral is left to set undisturbed? It gains the strength to hold generations of worshippers. Likewise, your stillness now will bear the weight of future assignments. The silence you step into tomorrow is not emptiness. It is a holy chamber where God's blueprint is being etched into the walls of your soul. When you surrender control, you are engaging in a spiritual law that operates like resonance in physics, your heart frequency aligning with the divine frequency until they move in perfect harmony. This radical trust invites healing currents to flow into every corner of your life, restoring fractures you didn't even know existed. Our culture, built on the psychology of achievement and constant momentum, tells you movement equals progress. Yet God flips the script entirely. Isaías 30:15 declares, "In quietness and trust is your strength." Could it be that by resting, you are building a stronger structure in the unseen than any visible effort could achieve? The same way a tuning fork must be still before it can resonate purely, your soul must be quiet to vibrate with heaven's exact pitch. Even the smallest agitation can distort that resonance, which is why your obedience tomorrow is not just recommended, it's essential. This isn't laziness, it's a power move in the kingdom. In warfare terms, it is the ceasefire that allows reinforcements to reposition for victory. In the pacing of an intense symphony, it is the sudden, deliberate pause before the music returns with overwhelming force. By simply closing your eyes and yielding to this divine pause, you align yourself with an energy greater than anything your striving could summon. Psalm 23:2-3 reminds us, "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul." Are you willing to believe that this restoration requires your stillness more than your action? Picture an archer pulling back a bowstring. The pause before release determines the precision of the arrow. Your day of rest is that sacred draw, building tension for a strike that will land exactly where God intends. History holds examples of those who understood this paradox. George Washington Carver, the scientist and inventor, was known for withdrawing into quiet reflection before making breakthroughs that changed agriculture forever. He once said, "I never have to grope for methods. The method is revealed the moment I am still." Your bed tomorrow is not a place of withdrawal. It is a laboratory where heaven will conduct experiments in your soul that will yield results far beyond this day. And those results will stand like an unshakable tower against every storm ahead. Just as a telescope requires perfect stillness to capture the faintest light from distant galaxies, your spirit requires perfect stillness to receive revelations from the far reaches of heaven. Carver's genius wasn't born from chaos. It was born from quiet alignment. The same alignment God is inviting you into. Jesus understood the necessity of this rhythm. He withdrew to solitary places, not because he was avoiding his mission, but because the mission required replenishment. Mark 6:31 tells of him saying to the disciples, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." Your day of rest will be your altar, a point of convergence where faith, obedience, and healing meet. But altars must remain undisturbed. For the sacrifice to be accepted, could the smallest distraction, one phone call, one text be enough to scatter the sacred work God is doing in you? Imagine a sculptor chiseling marble with perfect precision. One sudden jolt could shatter hours of delicate work. Protecting your rest tomorrow is protecting the masterpiece He is shaping in you. Phones, social media, conversations, even small chores, these may seem harmless, but they function like microfractures in structural engineering. Tiny cracks, left unattended, can compromise the integrity of an entire building. The divine recovery you're about to experience is as delicate as a bone setting in place. Move too soon, and the alignment will be lost. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, there is a time for everything, a time to heal. If you treat this as just another day, you will miss the moment the architect of your soul designed specifically for your restoration. The engineer doesn't rush the curing of concrete. The surgeon doesn't rush post-operation recovery. Why should you rush the moment God Himself has scheduled for your renewal? The choice is before you. Fight against the divine blueprint, or submit to it fully. If you obey, tomorrow will not merely be a day of sleep. It will be a structural reinforcement in your destiny, an invisible but permanent strengthening of your calling. When you rise, you will not simply be rested, you will be recalibrated, recentered, and resonating with the precise frequency of heaven's will. And when that happens, no storm, no enemy, no false narrative will be able to dismantle what God has fortified within you, like a fortress restored stone by stone. Your life will stand unshaken in the days ahead. The pause you choose today will be the stability you stand on tomorrow. Distractions are like tiny fractures in a great wall, barely visible at first, but eventually capable of toppling the entire structure if left unchecked. They are the silent thieves of destiny, robbing you not in loud crashes, but in subtle compromises that feel harmless in the moment. If you choose busyness over stillness, the consequences will not simply delay your breakthrough, they could dismantle months, even years, of spiritual progress. Proverbs 4:25 instructs, let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Could one glance toward distraction be enough to undo the healing God is preparing for you? Imagine an ancient fortress left with just one small gap in the wall. The enemy needs no larger opening to invade. This is your once-in-a-lifetime invitation to step out of the noise of the world and into God's sacred healing space. And heaven is watching to see how you will respond. The invitation will not come again in the same way. At the same time, it is unique, unrepeatable, and sacred. The cost of distraction is high, but the reward of obedience is beyond anything you can imagine. Psalm 37:34 urges, wait for the Lord and keep His way, and He will exalt you to inherit the land. Guard your attention fiercely, for your focus is the gatekeeper of your restoration. This is your chance to experience divine renewal, at a level few ever receive. Will you let the world's noise drown out heaven's whisper? Every moment you spend guarding your focus is like tightening the bolts on a bridge before heavy traffic crosses. It ensures that what's about to come can be carried without collapse. Preparation is not a minor step. It is the act of building the altar before the fire falls. Just as the prophet Elijah carefully arranged the stones on Mount Carmel before calling down God's fire, you too must arrange the environment for tomorrow's holy encounter. And just as Elijah soaked the altar with water to prove God's power, your preparation will prove your faith before the miracle. To help you understand the seriousness of this, the story of Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing, known as the Lady with the Lamp. She revolutionized hospital care during the Crimean War, not just through medical skill, but through her relentless focus on order, cleanliness, and preparation. She once said, "I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse." Your preparation for tomorrow is the same kind of discipline. It's the unseen work that makes the miracle possible. It's the difference between a patient surviving the night or succumbing to infection, like Nightingale's hospital wards. Your environment must be free from contamination. Only in purity can full healing take place. If she could save thousands through meticulous readiness, how much more can your soul be saved through the same vigilance? History also warns us through its cautionary tales. Consider Napoleon's invasion of Russia in 1812. Confident in his momentum, he underestimated the preparation needed for the brutal winter ahead. The result was catastrophic. His army, once mighty, was reduced to a fraction of its size, not by battle, but by the cold and starvation. In the same way, underestimating tomorrow's preparation could leave your spiritual defenses frostbitten and your breakthrough delayed indefinitely. 1 Peter 5-8 reminds us, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." Neglecting preparation is like marching into enemy territory without supplies. You may start strong, but you will end in defeat. And defeat in this context means the miracle slips past you, moving to the one who was ready to receive it. Preparation is key to making tomorrow's divine healing day a success. Keep essential items close by so you never have to leave your sacred resting place. Have plenty of water nearby to stay hydrated. Water is a physical necessity, but it is also a biblical symbol of life and cleansing. John 4:14. Keep nourishing. Easy to digest, foods ready. The kind that will comfort your hunger without pulling you away from rest. These may seem like simple steps, but they are the practical threads in the tapestry of your obedience. If your body is nourished, your spirit can focus entirely on the work God is doing. The smallest discomfort can tempt you to break the stillness, so remove every obstacle before the day begins. Create an environment that invites peace. Dim the lights. Arrange soft blankets. And perhaps let the air be filled with calming sounds or complete silence. Make your bed a sanctuary, not just a place to sleep, but a consecrated altar where heaven and earth meet. Set your phone to Do Not Disturb. And if possible, let those around you know that you will be unavailable. This is not rudeness, it is reinforcement of the sacredness of the moment. Matthew 6:6 says, "When you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen." The closed door is your shield, the dim light is your sacred lamp, and the silence is the atmosphere where heaven moves most powerfully. Guard this space as if it were a holy relic entrusted to you for a single day. Will you treat your sacred space as a daily necessity or as a luxury you visit only when convenient? Think of this as preparing for a spiritual ceremony, where every detail matters. The priest in the temple did not approach the altar casually. Every robe, every vessel, every candle had to be placed with intention. So too, your preparation is a sign to heaven that you are expecting God to move. Every glass of water you place beside you, every blanket you fold over your body, every notification you silence is part of your offering. And when He does move, you will know it was not by accident, but by design, that your obedience built the space for His miracle to rest. This day will become a testimony you tell in years to come. A story of how one day of perfect rest changed everything. Your preparation is more than a checklist. It is the soil in which tomorrow's miracle will take root. By arranging your surroundings thoughtfully, you are creating the same kind of controlled environment a gardener prepares before planting rare and fragile seeds. The soil must be rich, the weeds removed, and the ground softened to receive new life. Hosea 10:12 urges, "Break up your unplowed ground, for it is time to seek the Lord." Could it be that your dimmed lights, silenced phone, and ready provisions are the spiritual plow, breaking the hard surface of your daily routine so heaven's seed can take hold? Just as a rare orchid needs specific humidity and light to bloom, your spirit requires intentional care to unfold in tomorrow's sacred moment. Solitude might feel heavy, even uncomfortable at first, but tomorrow it will be your fiercest ally. In nature, the eagle builds its nest high on an isolated cliff, not for beauty, but for safety, ensuring that its young grow strong away from predators. Psalm 119:6 promises, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." Will you climb to your own spiritual cliff tomorrow, separating yourself from the crowded valley of constant noise? This separation is not punishment, it is elevation, positioning you where the winds of God's breath can carry you higher. The chosen one must step entirely away from social interaction and external noise to allow divine healing to penetrate every hidden chamber of the soul. Isolation disconnects you from the draining energies of others and reconnects you to the pure river within your own sanctuary. Just as the deep ocean remains calm and undisturbed beneath the surface storms, your spirit will find stillness beneath the waves of worldly distraction. Isaiah 26:3 affirms, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Could it be that the storm outside is the very proof that your retreat is divinely timed? This sacred solitude is not about loneliness, it is about presence. It is the holy presence that settles when all competing voices fade, like a forest clearing bathed in dawn light after a night of rain. In the medieval morality play Everyman, the protagonist discovers that none of his companions' beauty, strength, or wealth can follow him beyond death. Only good deeds can. Tomorrow, your good deed will be obedience to the call of stillness, preparing you for what lies beyond this moment. Mark 1:35 records that Jesus went out to a solitary place, where he prayed. If the Son of God sought the wilderness to recharge, what might he build in you through your own sacred retreat? Many spiritual traditions emphasize the transforming power of intentional solitude, from the desert hermits who shaped early Christianity to the shepherd watching over sheep in the quiet night. Tomorrow, you will join this timeless lineage by honoring your need to be alone. And like a tree that sheds its leaves in winter to conserve life for the spring bloom, your withdrawal is not loss, it is preservation. Your stillness is storing strength for a season that has not yet arrived. Ecclesiastes 3:7 reminds us, there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Will you honor the silence so your future words carry divine weight? This will not be easy for everyone. The pull to engage, to reply, to scroll, to just check will be strong, but the breakthrough you seek lies beyond the veil of noise in the stillness of your own holy retreat. As your body and spirit undergo divine healing, expect sensations that might surprise you, emotional surges that feel like floodwaters, sudden chills like the first gust of wind before rain, or unusual hunger like the body craving new strength. These are not interruptions. They are proof that the restoration is underway, like tectonic plates shifting deep beneath the earth before a mountain rises. God is realigning things in your unseen foundation. Tomorrow, you will not just rest, you will be remade. Emotional sparks may bring unexpected tears or sudden moments of piercing clarity, releasing layers of pain or fear you didn't realize you had carried for years. These are not random reactions, they are pressure valves in the soul, opening to release what has been building silently inside. Sudden chills are not just physical sensations, they are evidence of energy redistribution. The way current shifts through a complex circuit when a new connection is established. Malachi 4:3 promises. The Sun of Righteousness will rise with healing in its rays. Could these chills be heaven's light penetrating the deepest shadows of your being? Intense hunger is not weakness. It is your body signaling that it needs fuel for the cellular construction taking place as God rebuilds you from the inside out, brick by living brick. Instead of resisting these sensations, welcome them as holy indicators of transformation. Architects know that before a structure can bear weight, it must be stress-tested for hidden weaknesses. In the same way, your body and spirit are being gently tested, not to break you, but to reveal and fortify the points where strength is needed most. Many chosen ones before you have likened this to a spiritual detox, a purging of toxins that once kept you tethered to old cycles. Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and help you. Could it be that the shaking you feel is simply God realigning your inner scaffolding? This healing will not be linear, like waves rolling onto a shore. It will come in rhythmic cycles: sleep, wakefulness, then sleep again. In physics, oscillation is the repeated movement between 2 points that gradually stabilizes a system. Your body is following a similar God-designed pattern. Eclesiastes 3:1 declares, there is a time for everything, a time to heal. Each time you drift into rest, you descend to a deeper layer of renewal, much like divers descending into unexplored depths where unseen treasures lie. Will you allow yourself to keep diving? Even when part of you wants to come up for air too soon, do not fight the urge to wake or shift briefly. These are transitional moments, like the interludes in a great symphony, when the music softens not because the performance has ended, but because the next movement requires a change in key. When you wake, breathe deeply. Oxygen is the fuel your body uses to repair tissues and calm the nervous system. Hydrate water is the conductor that allows nutrients and signals to flow freely. Nourish lightly, just enough to supply energy without weighing down the process. Then return to rest, trusting the rhythm as a conductor trusts the score. Psalm 127:2 reminds us, He grants sleep to those He loves. By honoring this divine pattern, you are cooperating fully with the miraculous process unfolding within you. Every patient pause, every surrendered moment, is a seed planted in the soil of your destiny. This is where patience becomes power. To help you understand, think of how Sir Ernest Shackleton the legendary Antarctic explorer, survived months stranded on the ice not by constant movement, but by mastering the art of strategic stillness. He understood that conserving energy and waiting for the right moment to act could mean the difference between life and death. Could your stillness tomorrow be the very thing that ensures you survive the spiritual winter and enter the spring God has promised? As you step into this sacred day of rest and restoration, remember, you are not walking this path alone. Archangel Michael, the mighty warrior of heaven, has been dispatched to stand guard over you. Psalm 91, 11 declares, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. His presence is not distant or abstract. It is a shield encircling your spirit, a wall of light standing between you and every shadow. Heaven has not only ordered your healing, it has secured your protection while that healing takes place. Tomorrow, you do not lie in bed as the vulnerable. You lie there as the guarded, the chosen, and the prepared. It is not just a comforting thought. It is a force, a powerful, protective presence encircling your body, mind, and spirit like an impenetrable shield. Psalm 34, 7 declares, the angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. In this sacred assignment, Michael's sword does not waver. It slices through fear, doubt, and darkness with surgical precision. Imagine him as your celestial bodyguard, silent, watchful, unblinking, standing at your side with a loyalty that cannot be bought or broken. Could it be that the reason you've felt an unexplainable peace lately is because the very atmosphere around you has been fortified by heaven's most trusted warrior? His vigilance is not passive. Michael actively intercepts every negative influence, every malicious whisper from the enemy, and every subtle distraction that could break your focus. Ephesians 6:11 reminds us to put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. In your moments of weakness, when the urge to get up, check your phone, or wander from your rest creeps in, his strength presses into your spirit like a wall that will not yield. His role is to keep you anchored in obedience, because the miracle God is working in you cannot be completed if you keep stepping away from the altar. If Michael stands watch over the gates of heaven itself, Revelation 12:7-8, will he not also stand guard over the doorway of your healing? History offers us glimpses of this same kind of unwavering protection. Harriet Tubman, the former slave who became a conductor on the Underground Railroad, led dozens to freedom through hostile territory. Often under the cover of night, she spoke of following divine guidance, like a shield, hearing God's voice direct her steps, turning down one path and avoiding another, always just beyond the reach of danger. Like Harriet's midnight journeys, your bed tomorrow will be more than furniture. It will be a fortress cloaked in angelic presence. In that place, anxiety will dissolve, and peace will flood in. Not because danger has disappeared, but because the shield is stronger than the attack. But we also learn from the failures of those who ignored the protection offered to them. Take King Zedekiah of Judah, who was warned by the prophet Jeremiah to surrender to God's instruction during the Babylonian siege, Jeremiah 38:17. His refusal to obey left the city breached, the temple burned, and his own life in chains. Disobedience didn't just cost him his throne, it cost his people their sanctuary. In the same way, stepping out from under God's covering tomorrow, even for a moment, risks dismantling what has taken days, months, or even years for heaven to prepare in you. Will you, like Zedekiah, gamble with the walls that protect you, or will you remain where safety has been assigned? Many who have walked this path before you have testified to the moment the atmosphere shifted, when fear evaporated and courage rose without explanation. Isaiah 41:13 says, "For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, 'Do not fear, I will help you.'" These moments are not random. They are Michael's presence pressing closer, sealing every breach, holding back every shadow. Your healing is not exposed to the chaos of the world. It is being carried out in a sealed chamber, guarded by the warrior who has never lost a battle. You are not just protected, you are strategically defended. No force in the physical or spiritual realm can penetrate what God has assigned Michael to guard. This is more than safety. It is a guarantee that the miracle will reach completion if you remain in position. The only variable left is your choice. Will you stay under the shield, or will you step into the open field before the battle is won? Throughout this divine day of rest, a sacred current will surround you so completely that it will feel as if the very air itself has been rewritten by heaven. It is not just warmth, it is the same kind of gentle heat that lingers on a mountainside when dawn's first light breaks over the horizon. Steady and unstoppable. Psalm 84:11 says, "For the Lord God is a sun and shield, the Lord bestows favor and honor." Could the radiance you sense tomorrow be the same light Scripture promises to those who trust Him? It will seep into your skin the way spring rain soaks thirsty soil, saturating every dry place until life stirs again. You may not see the roots beneath the surface, but they are already absorbing heaven's water. This heavenly energy is not passive, it is alive. It moves through you like the steady heartbeat of the ocean, unseen, yet unceasing, pushing out what does not belong and drawing in what sustains. Isaiah 58:11 declares, "The Lord will guide you always. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail." Will you allow yourself to become that garden, letting His streams run freely without dam or blockage? You may feel waves of peace rolling through you, as rhythmic as wind sweeping across a field of wheat, bending every stalk into harmony. At other times, a soft hum, almost like the vibration of a hive alive with purpose, may echo beneath your skin, signaling that the work is underway. These are not random sensations. They are signs that the divine realm is touching you directly. In the 14th century English play, The Harrowing of Hell, Christ's light shatters the gates of darkness to rescue the righteous. It is portrayed not as a violent blaze, but as an unrelenting, all-penetrating glow. Tomorrow, that same kind of light will not break into a dungeon, it will break into your very being, dismantling the shadows that have lingered too long. 2 Corinthians 4:6 affirms, "For God made His light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of God's glory." Could it be that every flicker you see, every shimmer in your vision, is heaven's torch passing through your soul? This is your holy invitation to rest without reservation, knowing you are cradled in God's own hands. It will feel like being wrapped in a divine cocoon, soft, protective, and impenetrable to anything that would harm you. Just as a caterpillar surrenders to stillness within its chrysalis, trusting an unseen process to shape its wings, you too must yield to the mystery of your transformation. Exodus 3:13 promises, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Will you trust that this stillness is not an interruption to your life, but the birth of your new form? This powerful presence will not falter, it will remain steady, like the moon holding its place in the sky through tides, storms, and seasons. Its constancy is deeply personal, tailored to you in a way no one else can experience. It will remind you that your healing is not simply physical, it is the complete rewiring of your soul, the planting of seeds that will bear fruit in ways you cannot yet imagine. And as you surrender fully to this holy current, one of the earliest signs of your restoration will appear on your skin, not just as a change in appearance, but as a living testimony that heaven has touched earth in you. You may begin to notice a new softness, a luminous glow, or even a youthful elasticity returning as your skin flushes with renewed life. This is not mere cosmetic change, it is the visible architecture of your healing. Like the restoration of a cathedral facade after centuries of erosion, revealing carvings that had been hidden under soot and time. Psalm 34, 5 declares, "Those who look to him are radiant, their faces are never covered with shame." Could it be that what you see in the mirror is not just improved skin tone, but the reflection of a soul freed from shadows, just as the morning sun floods a valley after a long night? Your skin will bear the light of an inner sunrise that no darkness can withstand. Dullness will fade, blemishes will soften, and an unmistakable freshness will radiate from you. But this glow is not vanity, it is a divine signature, a covenant seal between you and God, marking the progress of your renewal. Architects speak of load-bearing beauty, where the strength of a structure is part of its design, not hidden beneath it. Your face will become that living testimony, where beauty is born from integrity. Isaiah 61 calls, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Will you allow this radiance to remind you daily that your transformation is already underway? This phase is more than a physical refresh. It is the body's announcement that it is ready to descend into deeper restoration. Beneath the surface, the work becomes structural. Your muscles, once fatigued, will begin repairing and rebuilding with divine precision, like a suspension bridge being restrung cable by cable until it can bear greater weight than before. In the language of physics, this is resonance, your body finding its perfect frequency again, each fiber vibrating in harmony with the life God is breathing into it. Psalm 138:3 says, "When I called, you answered me, you greatly emboldened me." Could the strength you begin to feel be heaven's direct reply to your surrender? You may feel this renewal as a loosening of old tension, stiffness melting like ice under the first warmth of spring. A gentle surge of energy may flow through your limbs, awakening strength that was not lost, but lying dormant. This is no ordinary recovery, it is a sacred recalibration. Just as a master clockmaker realigns the gears so the mechanism can keep perfect time, the Spirit is aligning every system in your body to work in unison again. The late American neurosurgeon, Dr. Ben Carson, once remarked that the human brain and body have incredible God-given ability to heal and adapt when given the right conditions tomorrow. You are stepping fully into those conditions. Every movement you make in the days ahead will carry this newly restored strength. Even if you remain in rest now, your body is quietly in training, preparing for the day you will rise, walk, and stand taller than ever before. This phase is the quiet before a storm, not of destruction, but of renewal. In sports psychology, they call it the still point before the surge. When an athlete's body draws in energy right before an explosive movement. Isaiah 41:13 promises, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." Will you embrace this sacred pause? knowing that strength is gathering unseen, ready to flood your life in its appointed moment. It prepares you to step back into your life, not as you were before, but as someone recharged with a strength the world cannot explain. You will feel God pouring fuel into every chamber of your being for the challenges ahead, for the assignments He has already written into your story. Philippians 4:13 declares, I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. Could it be that the next season of your life is not simply about survival, but about rising to take territory you once thought was lost? From this day, you will rise renewed, powerful, and unstoppable, not because of your own willpower, but because heaven has rebuilt you from the inside out. Perhaps the most awe-inspiring part of this divine healing will be how it rewinds more than just fatigue. It will reverse the subtle erosion of time. Your mind will become sharper, as if cobwebs you didn't know existed are being swept away. Romans 12:2. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not merely mental clarity, it is the rekindling of vision, memory, and creativity. You may notice the mental fog lifting, replaced with fresh ideas and insights that almost feel too vivid to be your own. Could it be that God is not just restoring what you've lost, but installing an entirely new operating system within you? To see how real this can be, think of Maya Angelou, the poet and storyteller who overcame trauma, prejudice, and decades of struggle, yet continued to create some of her greatest works well into her later years. She often spoke of how each chapter of her life brought a new well of creativity and boldness. Your own renewal will carry that same spirit. You will think with the wisdom carved by years, yet move with the energy and curiosity of youth. That combination is not natural, it is supernatural. This transformation will also erase burdens you thought were permanent. The weight of past disappointments, mistakes, and missed opportunities will loosen their grip. Isaiah 3:23 promises, See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Like the first breath of spring after a long winter, your inner world will burst into bloom. Joy will no longer feel like a visitor. It will become your permanent resident. You will navigate life with a steadiness born from scars that have been healed, not hidden. But history warns us about what happens when renewal is offered and rejected. Consider the story of Demas, once a fellow laborer with the Apostle Paul, who abandoned his calling because he loved this present world. 2 Timothy 4:10. The opportunities he might have embraced were traded for temporary comfort, and his name is now remembered as a cautionary tale. Will you, like Demas, walk away from the momentum of your own renewal? Or will you hold fast until the transformation is complete? This phase of your healing is not just about restoration, it is about rebirth. Your thoughts will begin to move in step with God's vision for you. Your confidence will rise without arrogance, rooted in the knowledge that you have been carried through the fire and come out refined. Psalm 1:4 promises, Who satisfies your desires with good things, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. You will carry the energy of youth without its restlessness, the wisdom of age without its heaviness, and a heart that sees both the horizon and the present moment as holy ground. This is not merely a blessing, it is God's personal gift to you, crafted in the workshop of eternity. A mind renewed, a heart awakened, and a spirit revived until they resonate in perfect harmony. By the time this sacred day concludes, the true essence of who you are, the chosen one, will radiate from within you like sunlight breaking through after a week of storm. 2 Corinthians 5:17 declares, If anyone is in Christ, The new creation has come, the old has gone. The new is here. Could it be that the fatigue, fear, and false ceilings you once thought were part of your identity are about to crumble like brittle leaves in autumn's first wind? This unveiling will not remain hidden. It will spill into the physical realm, into the brightness of your eyes, the ease of your smile, and the poise in every movement you make. In nature, the monarch butterfly emerges from its chrysalis, not only transformed in form, but carrying the unmistakable colors of its destiny. In the same way, those around you will sense a shift they cannot name but cannot ignore. Matthew 5:16 urges, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Will you let this divine fingerprint, now illuminated, mark every step you take? People will feel it before they can explain it. Your presence will carry the calm of a mountain lake and the vitality of a river after the rains. Conversations will shift. Rooms will feel different when you enter, and hearts will turn toward the light you now carry. This is the unveiling that happens when heaven's signature becomes visible in life. It draws others not to you, but to the one who healed you. In the medieval English mystery play, The York Cycle, Christ's resurrection is depicted as light flooding a darkened world, driving away shadows with quiet authority. Tomorrow, you will stand in that same victorious light. Isaiah 60:3 promises, "Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn." Could it be that your dawn is now breaking? This moment of unveiling is more than a change. It is a holy landmark, a point on the map of your life that heaven will reference again and again. The eagle does not simply stretch its wings for the sake of movement. It rises on thermals it cannot see, but trusts completely. In the same way, you will begin to walk boldly into a new identity, confident that unseen currents of divine favor are carrying you higher. Psalm 23:3 assures, "He restores my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake." Will you trust those paths, even when they lead beyond the familiar? Finally, brace yourself, not with fear, but with readiness for the eruption of your greatest breakthrough yet. The healing, renewal, and transformation you receive tomorrow will be the open gate into a chapter filled with blessings you cannot yet measure, divine favor you could not have earned, and supernatural growth you could never have strategized. Just as spring transforms a barren orchard into a place heavy with fruit, your life will bear abundance in health, relationships, purpose, and peace. Ephesians 3:20 declares, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, to him be glory." And when that abundance comes, it will not be a surprise. It will be the natural bloom of the seeds you allowed God to plant in the soil of your surrender. It will feel like the instant before dawn when the sky holds its breath, then, in a sudden sweep, bursts into a spectrum of golds, purples, and crimson. In architecture, this is like the moment when scaffolding is finally removed from a great cathedral, revealing the restored stonework to the world. Psalm 3:5 promises, "Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning." Could it be that your morning is already breaking over the horizon of your life? This is your divine breakthrough, a structural shift in the foundation of your being that will catapult you forward into a life overflowing with grace, victory, and momentum you cannot explain. You have been under God's preparation, like a carefully tuned instrument in the hands of a master musician. In acoustics, Resonance happens when an object vibrates at its natural frequency, amplifying the sound until it fills the space. Today's stillness is God tuning you, so tomorrow's life will resound with clarity and power. Isaiah 40:29 says, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Will you step into this next season with the strength, clarity, and joy that even you will marvel at? Beneath the quiet surface of this day of rest, God has been storing treasures in hidden chambers of your spirit. In design engineering, these are like stress-bearing beams hidden inside the walls, unseen but essential for holding up the entire structure. Colossians 3:23. -24 reminds us that the inheritance we receive is from the Lord, not from human hands. These blessings are not arbitrary. They have been catalogued and sealed for this exact moment of surrender. Could your willingness to rest be the master key that finally unlocks them? As you yield, these divine gifts will begin to unfurl, not in a chaotic rush, but in a deliberate sequence. Like the controlled ignition stages of a rocket lifting into orbit, each stage has a purpose. One gift will lighten the weight in your heart. Another will spark an idea that redirects your future. And another will wrap you in a peace so deep you will wonder how you ever lived without it. To see this principle in life, think of Maria, a seamstress in a small coastal town who, after recovering from a long illness, spent months in quiet rest. She began to sketch designs during her convalescence, and over time, those designs became a thriving small business that supported her family and community. Maria often said it was in those silent, restful days that she heard God's clearest instructions for her life. Your current rest is carrying the same potential, an unseen incubation of ideas, favor, and opportunities that will unfold in God's perfect timing. These blessings may arrive as gentle breezes of peace, sudden sparks of joy, or moments of piercing clarity that open unseen doors. Ephesians 3:6 says, I pray that out of His glorious riches He may strengthen you with power through His Spirit in your inner being. It will be like a sacred vault opening inside you, releasing grace and favor that have been waiting, sometimes for years. For this precise hour, your spirit will feel lighter, freer, more deeply anchored to the purpose God has written for you. And here is the beauty: these blessings rarely march in with fanfare. They weave themselves subtly into your conversations, decisions, and even your thoughts, until one day you realize you are no longer the same. The transformation will be evident in the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you see possibility where others see obstacles. James Viens, says, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights. Will you embrace these gifts, knowing they are not random acts, but the deliberate designs of heaven, timed perfectly for your unveiling? You might soon notice doors swinging open that you never even knew existed, opportunities appearing where walls once stood, relationships that were fractured will begin to mend as if guided by unseen hands. And that still, inner voice within you will speak with new clarity and authority. This is no coincidence. It is the unfolding of God's perfect timing, an orchestration that has been set in motion long before you even realized the need. For the vision is yet for the appointed time. It hastens toward the goal, and it will not fail. Habakkuk 2-3. Every blessing waiting for you is like a seed already planted in the soil of your destiny, ready to sprout when the season is right. As you rest, these seeds are being watered with grace. Could it be that the very rest you resist is the doorway to the life you've been praying for? They are not just small tokens of kindness, but the very foundation upon which God is building your renewed future. This sacred day is a spiritual investment, one whose return will echo for a lifetime. Every moment of stillness is a deposit into your heavenly account, one that will yield a harvest of peace, provision, and purpose. In the words of the late motivational speaker Jim Rohn, the major value in life is not what you get, but what you become. God is using this moment to shape what you are becoming, not just what you will receive. And if He is preparing you in secret, what might He be planning to reveal in public? This rest is far beyond the shallow sleep that the world chases. It is a divine recharge, an intimate reconnection with the limitless power source of heaven. Imagine your body, long drained by the grind of anxiety, stress, and endless obligations, now being reconnected to a power line that cannot fail. Tomorrow, you will rise not only restored, but infused with vitality, so deep it feels almost otherworldly. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29. This is not a fleeting jolt of caffeine or a quick nap. It is a complete overhaul of your strength. Will you have the courage to protect this sacred moment from the noise of the world? But take heed, there are those who squander divine invitations. History recalls the story of Judas Iscariot, a man who walked beside Jesus, heard His voice, and saw His miracles, yet traded it all for 30 pieces of silver. His choice to chase temporary gain over eternal destiny not only destroyed his legacy, but became a cautionary tale for all generations. The same God who gave Judas access to the greatest teacher also gave him the free will to turn away. How tragic it would be if you let distraction or impatience rob you of the very breakthrough God has already set aside for you. The strength you are about to receive will not only recharge your muscles and sharpen your mind, but will ignite your motivation like a roaring furnace. Your spirit will catch fire with purpose. Your emotional and mental resilience will rise, allowing you to navigate storms with a calm authority. You will find yourself no longer reacting in panic, but responding with wisdom. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. And in that stillness, you will know you are not just surviving. You are being sculpted into someone who carries unshakable peace into every battle. So guard this time like the most valuable treasure you have ever held. Keep distractions at bay. Let nothing steal this sacred moment. For it is more than recovery. It is transformation. When you awaken, the difference will be undeniable. You will carry yourself with the poise of a warrior who has been through the forge and emerged unbreakable. This is not about brute force, but about that unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you are chosen, protected, and sent. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. James 1:12. When the crown is offered, will you be ready to wear it, or will you have forfeited it to lesser distractions? Now is the moment to rise, not with haste, but with holy certainty. The Lord has strengthened your hands for battle and anchored your heart for purpose. Step forward into the life He has prepared, knowing that every breath you take is now charged with divine power. It is the kind of power that carves rivers through stone, bends the tallest cedar under the force of the wind, and turns a seed buried in darkness into a towering tree. Just as the eagle rides the invisible thermal currents high above the earth, so will you rise, not by straining, but by resting in the lift of God's promises, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord Almighty. Zechariah 4:6. This is the same divine current that empowered David to face Goliath with nothing but a sling, and Esther to step into the throne room knowing her life was on the line. Tomorrow, that very current will surge through your spirit, enabling you to confront every obstacle with a boldness that feels as unshakable as the mountain ranges God Himself spoke into existence. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to wake up with heaven's own fire burning in your heart? You will stand not in borrowed strength, but in God's own energy, and when that power settles into your bones, you will feel unstoppable, ready to claim victories that have already been written in your favor. Yet remember, this strength is not yours to hoard. It is a gift to steward. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will lift you up. James 4:10, for the higher His hand raises you. The deeper your roots must sink into humility, lest the very strength meant to sustain you becomes the weight that topples you. During this sacred day of rest, watch for the quiet fingerprints of God across your life, like the first frost tracing its silver lace across a meadow at dawn. His work is often subtle but impossible to ignore. These miracles may not shout, they may whisper. They might appear as a gentle shift in your perspective, an unexpected door creaking open, or a word from a friend that arrives exactly when your spirit needs it most. Could it be that the answer you've been seeking has been forming quietly all along? The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Because stillness is not weakness. It is the posture of one who knows the outcome is already secured in the courts of heaven. It's the same stillness captured in the ending of the modern film Hacksaw Ridge, where Desmond Doss, armed with no weapon but unshakable faith, rescues man after man under fire, driven not by human strength, but by something greater. Isn't it true that the greatest victories are often born in the moments when the world least expects them? Could this be the season when your courage becomes the vessel for God's glory? When this day ends, it will not simply close a chapter, it will rewrite your entire story. This breakthrough is not just the mending of what was broken, it is the birth of a force within you that cannot be contained. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. Like the ocean's tide, once it begins to rise, nothing can hold it back. And when you stand in that new dawn, will you be ready to walk boldly into the destiny that has been waiting for you? Many have shared accounts of moments when time seemed to slow, when they felt an unseen presence, a warmth that settled into their bones, or a series of small yet perfectly aligned events that altered the course of their lives. These are not random coincidences, they are miracles in motion. The hidden engineering of heaven at work, in the architecture of the divine. Such moments are like keystones in an arch, seemingly small, yet holding the entire structure of your destiny in place as you rest. Be attentive to these holy signatures. They are the resonance frequencies of God's voice, vibrating within your spirit in ways the human ear cannot measure. Could it be that right now, He is already setting the next chapter of your life into motion without you even realizing it? Allow gratitude and awe to fill every corner of your being. These moments are not just pleasant surprises, they are sacred milestones that mark your passage from the familiar into the extraordinary. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. Romans 8:28. This is the divine confirmation that you are chosen, shielded, and destined for greatness. One of the most astounding promises tied to this day of divine rest is the quiet unlocking of financial doors you never even knew existed, as God restores the blueprint of your mind and the circuitry of your heart. He is also rearranging the invisible supply chains of heaven to release resources, connections, and opportunities that will elevate your life. This isn't random, it's precision timing. Like a conductor cueing each section of an orchestra to create a perfect crescendo. And when those notes align, provision flows. It may take the form of a sudden job offer, a long-forgotten debt being forgiven, or a new stream of income arriving exactly when your hands are open to receive. My God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19. What if the very thing you've been praying for is already on its way, hidden behind a door that only tomorrow's rest can open? History holds countless testimonies of miraculous provision in moments of scarcity. In the wilderness, God fed Israel with manna bread that appeared fresh with the morning dew. In your life, it may arrive as favor in a boardroom, an unexpected check in the mail, or a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In modern times, think of Howard Schultz, the visionary who transformed Starbucks from a small coffee house into a global phenomenon. He often spoke of the moments of providence, when opportunities and open doors appeared at the exact time he was ready to walk through them. Your upcoming season will echo this principle. Readiness meeting divine provision. Tomorrow is not just a day, it is a portal, a threshold into divine plenty. As you rest, picture these financial gates swinging wide, their hinges oiled by faith and trust. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of His bounty. Deuteronomy 28:12. Your healing, physical, emotional, and mental, is powerful, but it is only the prologue to a far greater ascent. God is not merely mending what is broken, He is raising the entire foundation of your life onto higher ground. This is your moment of spiritual ascension, a transformation as profound as watching a cathedral's spire pierce the clouds. Just as in physics, when an object reaches escape velocity and breaks free from the pull of gravity, you will break free from the weight of your past limitations. You will begin to see the world through the lens of eternity, perceiving details others overlook, catching whispers others miss. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2. Can you feel the shift already stirring in your spirit? Your intuition will sharpen like a well-tuned instrument. Your peace will deepen into an unshakable stillness, and your courage will take on the quiet confidence of a soul anchored in God's will. Your prayers will seem to bridge heaven and earth with increasing swiftness. Your alignment with divine purpose will turn each day into an opportunity for kingdom impact. And when the time comes to step through this gateway, you will not crawl, you will rise. So when you awaken from this day of holy rest, stand as one who knows they have been forged in the chambers of heaven itself. This is not survival, it is coronation. This is not recovery, it is ascension. And when the gates swing wide, walk through them with a warrior's stride, knowing that the God who calls you is also the God who equips you. This healing is only the foundation. Your ascension is the magnificent temple that will soon rise from it, a sacred architecture crafted by God Himself. As your body mends and your spirit elevates, are you ready to receive sudden bursts of divine clarity that will cut through the fog of uncertainty? These insights are like heavenly light illuminating corridors in your mind that were once shadowed by doubt. You may notice moments when answers to long-standing questions arrive with startling precision, as if the Spirit is whispering the steps of your destiny directly into your heart. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. And as you step into this divine architecture, each healed piece of your life becomes a cornerstone, anchoring you firmly to the path God has meticulously designed, so that every revelation, every insight, and every step forward aligns perfectly with His eternal blueprint. The words of Tony Robbins, the inspirational speaker. It is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Imagine for a moment that the choices you are about to make, guided by these divine flashes, could pivot your life into a new realm. Will you act when clarity arrives, or hesitate, letting opportunity slip by? These revelations might appear in dreams, quiet meditation, or even in sudden insights while simply sitting in rest. Each one is a divine blueprint, a God-given compass pointing toward your purpose. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3-5. For obedience in the moment of clarity is often the bridge between where you stand now and the destiny God has prepared. A crossing that can only be made by placing your full weight on His guidance. The chains that have held you fear, toxic relationships, addiction, or limiting beliefs are being dismantled even now. Can you feel the subtle loosening? The small cracks appearing where walls once seemed unbreakable. God's restoration is not merely repair, it is liberation. Tomorrow, expect a release so powerful that it will allow you to walk boldly into freedom. Even subtle shifts, a newfound ability to say no. A deep conviction that old habits no longer serve. You are the harbingers of complete transformation. Think of Haman, the advisor to King Ahasuerus in the book of Esther, who plotted against God's chosen people out of pride and envy. His schemes, no matter how meticulously planned, ultimately led to his downfall and public humiliation. Could it be that the chains in your life are being broken precisely so you avoid the same fate as Haman? Those who resist God's guidance often face consequences that could have been prevented through obedience and humility. But you, chosen one, are positioned differently. Divine hands are at work, preparing you to rise stronger, freer, and more aligned than ever before. The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because He has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the broken-hearted. Isaiah 61:1. As you rest, your soul will not only be healed, but flooded with joy and peace that transcend circumstances. Do you realize that this is not fleeting happiness, but a deep, abiding presence of God flowing through your being? Imagine the gentle river of tranquility washing away anxiety, fear, and stress, filling every cell of your body, every thought in your mind. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. John 14:27. Your sleep will be restorative, your dreams inspired, and your awakening will feel like stepping into a new dawn prepared just for you. Hold fast to hope and remain receptive to this sacred process. Every obstacle, every shadow that once dimmed your spirit, is being removed by divine precision. Your chains are falling, and with them comes a freedom you may never have thought possible. Will you embrace it fully, stepping into the life God has designed for you? This is the day where your foundation meets ascension. The healing is real, the liberation is near, and your joy is unstoppable. Step into it with faith, gratitude, and courage. For God is crafting a masterpiece through your life, one that will echo in eternity. Chosen one. What you are stepping into is not just another night's sleep, it is a holy appointment with the Almighty. This is the moment where heaven's blueprint for your restoration is being drawn, where the breath of God fills your spirit and aligns you for the battles and blessings ahead. Every second you honor this divine rest, you are sowing seeds that will bear fruit for years to come. Do not underestimate the weight of this call. When you wake, the chains will be lighter, the vision clearer, and your spirit stronger than it has been in a long time. This is your preparation for the next chapter, one that will require the strength, wisdom, and peace that only God can give. If this message has stirred your heart, I invite you to stand with this community of believers by liking this video, sharing it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribing so you don't miss the next word from heaven. Leave a comment with 777 as your declaration of agreement, a sign that you receive this promise and are ready for what God has in store. To those who have supported through Super, thanks. Your generosity is a living seed in the kingdom, and I honor you deeply. To those who simply watched, prayed, and believed, your faith is equally precious in God's sight. We are all part of this divine movement, and together we rise. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and give you peace. May you wake tomorrow not only restored, but reborn in spirit, ready to walk in your calling with courage, faith, and unstoppable joy. Your time is now. Rest well, rise strong, and step boldly into destiny.